welcome to In the Margins. I am Nicole Love. If this is your first episode of this series, hi, hello, thanks for being here. And if you have seen previous episodes before, welcome back. So in the margins, it's not talking about what the song means. It's like finding or paying attention to like what emerges when we kind of explore what the lyrics are speaking. When we really start to sit with them, it's seeing what is this song? How does this song speak to us? How does this song provide an opportunity to reflect on the lyrics and things of that nature? So we're going to explore that in this episode like we always do, diving to In the Margins, and let's hop right into today's episode. So today's episode of In the Margins is by James Blunt, and it's the song Retrograde. So the thing that I love about this song is I like the moodiness of it. I like the melody of it. I like the arrangement of it. At first, when I kind of listened to the lyrics on that, I was like, oh, I know why. Like it resonated with me in a very specific way. But what happened is the longer that I sat with this, the longer I would go and kind of read through the lyrics, and approaching it from different perspectives and just really sitting with it for quite some time. I was like, oh my goodness, this is really how I am sensing into reading into the lines. And I want to share my take in terms of how like the song really kind of changed. And that's what today's episode is really about. So if you already have watched lesson 3 from the Summer School FYHV, you'll hear some familiar themes and kind of what we're breaking down, I feel like. And if you haven't, this episode 100% stands completely on its own. And this is another pathway, another rabbit hole to go into the same conversation for summer school. So you can explore that. This is meant to extend that conversation within that lesson, but 100% stands on its own. So don't feel like you have to engage or know anything about that to get something from this episode. That's not how these are. But if you do want to go down that rabbit hole, I'll put the link down below so you can listen to that episode. And if you watch it, it's part of Substack subscribers. So it's part of the paid subscription for those that prefer to watch, but you can 100% listen for free on my Substack page. So I want to start with the title retrograde. And so the word retrograde has 2 meanings that I feel really matters here. So when we speak, like astronomically speaking, like retrograde is when the planet appears to move backwards in the sky, but it isn't actually reversing direction. When I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, what? They're not. For the longest, I thought that's what a retrograde, like retrograde meant. I thought planets were backwards. And so what happens is it's an illusion that is created by the changing relationship between the Earth's movement, right? Because the Earth is moving forward, right? And the movement of another planet. So the motion is still real. And so that backward movement that can kind of be felt, it can feel like it's real, right? But it's a matter of perspective. Start with like, have you ever been in a car? Like you're in a car and there's a car next to you, right? So you're in the car, you're riding in the car, and then there's a car next to you. And then all of a sudden, the car next to you looks like it's starting to like move backwards. And so for a second, you're kind of like, wait, are they moving? And it appears like they're not moving, but here's what's going on, right? You're still moving forward in the car. And what happens is it looks like the that they're not moving anymore, but they are moving too. And so what has happened is that you may be moving at a different speed than they are. And yet, and still, it can appear like they're moving backwards or like not moving at all. But it's more of kind of like, it looks like they're starting to kind of move backwards from you as you move forward. That's kind of like what a retrograde is. One thing that I learned when it comes to like the planets, like like astronomy, right? Astronomically, there's the word, is that planets don't actually reverse direction. I really thought planets are like going in reverse. I was like, oh, okay. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that they only appear to be going in the reverse direction because Earth is moving from a different position. So nothing has changed about the planet. That relationship has changed. The perspective has changed. Think of in the car, your perspective has changed because the car is no longer right here. You're moving and it looks like the car is moving backward, but the car is still moving. So that is what retrograde means, right? In a nutshell. So the thing when I explore like what retrograde means and like looking at like in the margins of the song, like, okay, what does this song attempt to give meaning to the foundation of the lyrics? What is this song talking about, through the title? And, one of the things when I first started exploring this song was that, I thought the song was about going backwards because like a lot of times like retrograde, you think was like things are going in reverse, which, it makes sense. Even when you look up like retrograde, it talks about going backwards. And so 100% makes sense. And I think that's also what the title can invite us to think. But then something happened the more I sat with the song. So my first interpretation, I'm going to look down to kind of track my notes here. So my first interpretation of the song is that, you kind of look through the lyrics and, at first the song sounded like loneliness and like identity and things of that nature. Let's pull up the lyrics here so I can look at my notes and also look at the lyrics at the same time. When I first listened to the song and I really started to look at the lyrics, the thing that kind of came forward is like, oh, I feel like it's talking about like loneliness and finding where you fit and like becoming yourself, right? That's where it's like when I first went through, take off my bracelet because it's clicking. When I first went through the lyrics and kind of reading in the margins, like, oh, I feel like this is like coming forward. But there was something that wasn't sitting right. I was just kind of like, I feel like I'm missing something. There's something different. I couldn't really figure out who was talking because in the song here, it's he's singing to someone else. And he's singing in a way where he's kind of like calling out the things that he observes, right? So just going into the lyrics here and we'll go a little bit deeper. So you're on your own in a world you've grown. And then, then it kind of goes into, so be the girl you love, be the girl you loved. What else? And then like there's a part of the lyrics that says, so show me why you're strong, ignore everybody else. We're alone now. The thing about these lyrics, when I first listened to them, I was like, who is this talking? Like, why are they speaking to her in this way? Because it talks about like a girl, which we can assume like he's talking to a female. So it could come off as like, oh, I'm talking to maybe someone that I care about. There's a level of care and concern in how the lyrics are kind of woven together. So that made me wonder, like, okay, there's something more here. Like, what is this relationship? My mind was like, what is this relationship? What is it? Like, literally, it was like, what type of relationship is this? Why would she care enough to hear what he's saying to her? Would she care? And I just kept coming back to like, who was talking and from what context? Because they were because, it's like the lyrics are really laid out to where, he's looking at what she's doing, how she's moving, how she's like approaching things, right? So it's like that perspective. So there's a level of looking and seeing and observing. So kind of like outside looking in, but inside enough to where you can really see what's going on, like very clearly seeing what and how she has chosen to show up and create whatever, right? And so I was like, okay. Then I landed on like, what if this isn't another person speaking? And my mind landed on like, I feel like this is the future version of her speaking, because when we go back to the lyrics, right? You're on your own in a world you've grown. So be the girl you loved, be the girl you love. And then the pre-chorus part here, I'll wait. So show me while you're strong. It was the I'll wait part, like, why are we waiting? Like, why are we waiting? And it's also kind of like the so be the girl you loved, that part in the lyrics. And then it goes into the I'll wait. I'll wait for you to be the girl that you loved. So there's this level of understanding that this person, that she loves herself in some capacity. And this person speaking is saying, I will wait for you to show me why you're strong, to show me why you are the girl that you loved. And, so pre-chorus is I'll wait. So show me why you're strong. Ignore everybody else. We're alone now. And then it goes into I'll wait. It repeats that. It's like, we are alone now. So it's like, okay, this is so curious. So we are together in this. That's why my mind was like, who is speaking and what? It didn't feel like it was. I'm trying to put words to it. It's like, it reminds me of how when I'm working with my clients and I'm listening to them and, kind of doing like check-ins, and they're telling me like, like where they are in terms of things that we have been having conversations about over the past few months. I have clients that I've had for years, honestly. And what happens is that I always remember the things that they say that they really want. And that's my frame of reference. It's like, I know what it is that they want, that they're like their dreams, their hopes and their dreams that are very soul-centered. And sometimes, life can happen and they kind of can forget that they have the strength to do this. And I can remember, I have the memory, I've collected the memories over the years And it's like, I'll wait for you to remember. You got this. So that's why I'm looking at this song. It's like, huh, who is this talking? Who is this talking? And I landed on, this is the person that they are in the process of coming back to. That's what I landed on. Because when we go back to the title retrograde, right? It's like you're in the car and you're moving in a way where it looks like the things around you are moving away from you. They're going in reverse. And, the thing about when you are doing things, choosing to live your life in a very different way than you did before, if you want to have a new experience, you have to do things differently. And sometimes that means you may have to leave people, places, and things behind in order to proceed forward. But also at the same time, they're still moving forward, but they may not be moving in a very succinct, aligned manner. So that's what the retrograde part of the song is. It's talking about the alignment piece of looking at how people, places, or things may no longer be in alignment. And it's also really provides an opportunity to get clear on listening to your inner voice, to not get distracted by the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm moving away. This thing looks like the things are moving backwards away from me. And you don't realize that you're actually moving forward and they're moving forward too. But it's just a matter of you're no longer aligned, perspectively speaking, side by side. There's still forward movement. There's always forward movement. Even, this idea, oh, you can't go back. No, you can't, but you can move forward. And sometimes when we move forward, we can come back, or we can feel like we come back to where we've come before again. But I feel like life is more of a spiral, right? And so the spiral, you can go here and then you can kind of circle back around, but there's still forward movement in a circle. So it's like, it's not that we're going back, we've circled back around. So there's always that constant movement of moving forward. Okay, so I want to move into the lyrics now. I know I said a lot about that. So let's move into the lyrics here. One of the things I find really interesting is this song it starts with this humming. Like it starts there. It doesn't hop in. And so there's a level of calmness that he is the narrator, right, of this song. Like he's holding that space and it's very calm and like I'll wait. Like it's like I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere type of energy, but it's very soothing and comforting and what have you. Is kind of like the humming that starts at the beginning of it, and it's kind of there's this longingness in how like the tonality of it and the frequency and the vibration, how the song opens with the humming part. So then it goes into you're on your own. And so when we look at that, it's about like you're on your own, because it goes back to what I say all the time for those that may be, this is the first time that you are like been introduced to me. My perspective is that we are responsible for saving ourselves. No one is coming to save us. I think we live in a world right now where that makes it pretty clear that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to find solutions that make sense, that fit into our life in a way that provides a level of feeling good, a level of enjoyment on some level in some capacity. And so it starts with this recognition of you're on your own, right? Which is about like, you're on your own. And that's not a bad thing. What I see is like, you are grounded in yourself in such a way of like, okay, I have to save myself. So there's a level of activation. There's a level of initiation, essentially. Just on that first part, you're on your own. And then it goes into, in a world you've grown. So you're on your own in a world you've grown. It's like, look how far you've already come. Like, oh, in a world you've grown. You've done hard things before and you're showing up for yourself. So again, it's that level of initiation. It's not about abandonment. Like, you're on your own in a world you've grown. And then this is where, reading this lyrics, I was like, who is speaking? Who, like, what perspective is this coming from? And it goes into a few more years to go. That's the part when I just kind of had like, few more years to go. What does that mean? And I'll go into the next one. Don't let the hurdle fall. Be the girl you loved. Okay. Let's break down those 3 lines. Few more years to go. It's this realization of like, the I'll wait part anchors back to few more years to go. So there's this understanding of timing. Like, you understand, like, okay, you are in a level of initiation. Like, you're on your own. You're showing up for yourself. You've already come so far. There's a few more years to go. So the level of understanding that, oh, there's still some time to go in order to get to that place of let's say completion on some level, right? Up leveling on some level. And then it goes into don't let the hurdle fall. When I saw this, like, few more years to go, don't let the hurdle fall, right? I always remember, as part of my spiritual warrior training that I did with a spiritual teacher that I had like years ago. And I've heard it said other ways too, but almost at the finish line can be the time where so many times we self-sabotage, where so many times, like, I think of like the ring of fire when women give birth, like that ring of fire, like you have to go through the ring of fire, and it's the hardest part. It's the hardest part to get to the other side where you have a baby, where you've pushed the baby out, right? And giving birth to something. So it's understanding that, okay, there's some time that there's a level of effort that still is in play here, and don't let almost to the finish line to keep you from moving forward. So then it goes back to the retrograde part, right? Retrograde. How are you thinking from that perspective of looking back, wanting to go back? But the irony of the song of retrograde is that we can't go back. We can only go forward. And yeah, we may circle back around to things. We're always moving forward. And it's also the reminder to like, don't stop. Like sometimes we can stop waiting for other things to catch up. So you can actually be driving your car and like slow down in order for the other car to catch up with you. And it's like, why are you doing that? Why did you do that? So it's like, don't let the hurdle fall. Because there's also, you know, we talk about few more years to go. Like you can kind of think like, oh, I'm so tired. I've been doing this for so long. I'm tired. Like, you know, almost doesn't count. So you're like, when you're almost finished, that is often the hardest part, because that exhaustion, that you can be experiencing can change your perspective. You can start questioning everything, and you can start to like want to move into a state of retrograde, right? And you can start romanticizing like old versions of yourself. And you know, I think there's a level of familiarity, there's a level of comfort in the familiarity, regardless of if there's a level of fulfillment in that. There's comfort in that. I know how that has played out, right? There's comfort in that. So when we can be exhausted with the realization that we have a few more years to go, the reminder here is don't let the hurdle fall. And then it goes into be the girl you love. It's like remembering why you started. Remember why you started. You loved yourself enough to move forward, to continue moving forward, to focus on the forward movement, right? Regardless of the things that may be appearing to retrograde. In summary, what this part of the lyrics is saying, you're on your own in a world you've grown. Few more years to go. Don't let the hurdle fall. Be the girl you loved. It's saying don't let today's discomfort erase yesterday's courage. And then it goes, I'll wait. I'll wait. Show me why you're strong. Ignore everybody else. We're alone now. I need to see let's pull up the lyrics here. I feel like I'm going off kilter here. All right. So I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. So that's the first chunk of that verse, the breakdown of that. So then we go into what's called the pre-chorus, and it's like, I'll wait. It says, I'll wait. So show me why you're strong. Ignore everybody else. We're alone now. And then repeats it another time. So it's like this reminder of like, hey, hey, hey. But the fact that it said, I'll wait, I was like, that's the future self. It's like, I'll wait for you. That's that finish line, crossing the line. I'll wait. I will meet you there and we will converge together. It's like your future self hyping you up like, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this type of energy. That's what I see the song is really kind of providing that reminder. It's like, I'll wait. There's a level of patience. Like, I'll wait. I'll give you the grace. There's no pressure. There's no shame. It's just I'll wait. And that's like, there's a level of groundedness of like, I'll wait. I'll wait. But also reminding you of like, because it goes into show me why you're strong. Remember yourself. It says, I'll wait. It's also saying like, I'll wait for you to remember while you're strong, but I also will wait. I'll still be here, no matter how it may land. And it's a reminder, like, ignore everybody else. I don't like that is so clear right there. Ignore everybody else. So it's like the retrograde back in the car. I had this blog post when I had my Nick Just Peachy blog, and it was an article. It was a post where it was talking about like you have to drive your own car, and so many people are trying to drive other people's cars that they're not even like they've lost the plot here. It's like, no, you got to drive your own car. Like if you're so focused on being in other people's cars and what other people are doing, how are you driving your car? How are you navigating through your own life? Because you have to drive yourself. Again, you are responsible for yourself. You have to save yourself because you are meant to drive your vehicle. You're meant to drive your vehicle. There's a level of sovereignty in that. There's a level of gracefully extending discernment. You get to discern how you want to drive. Do you want to go faster? But if you're spending time looking at the vehicles that are like, oh my gosh, where they're going, and it's like, right? The reminder here is ignore it. Let everybody do what they're doing. Stay focused on what you're doing. And then I find what was really beautiful and kind of haunting, like, we're alone now, right? It's like, who is the we? That was why I was like, who is speaking? We're alone now. It's like, you're not alone because there's a we in there. It's remembering. It's like the present self and the future self. You know, you have a destination that you're trying to get to. It's like, be mindful of that. Let that be your attention. Ignore everybody else and focus on being with yourself. We're alone now. Be with yourself. So then it goes into the next verse here is suddenly I'm hit. It's the starkness of the dawn, and your friends are gone, and your friends won't come. Just show me where you fit. Show me where you fit, right? So suddenly I'm hit, right? So it's like my future self is a level of like recognition. Like, oh, I recognize there's a level like, we're retrograding here. We're retrograding here because there's a starkness of the dawn. And when you think of like the starkness of the dawn, like the dawn, it's like the darkest. It's this weird period where it's in transition to a dawning of a new day, of the yesterday coming into the present of the future self. And so there's a level of like the starkness, there's a lack of clarity, like not being able to see the future self because I don't know what that looks like. And this speaks to like changing things and choosing to be differently in your life and in your world. It requires you to choose and to do things differently. And that can be very uncomfortable. Yes. And then there's a level of uncomfortability around that's like, I don't know where that's going to take me. And so it can come into feeling like there's a lack of safety in that too. Like, what? Like, oh my goodness. And so it's like understanding like your future, like they're saying like, hey, I understand that you're in this transitional period. You feel like you've retrograded, right? Like you've left behind your friends, old identities, old ways of being, old ways of surviving. And that's, so your friends are gone, your friends won't come. It's this reminder that sometimes in order to move forward, we have to leave things behind, but it also doesn't mean that it's still not moving forward. And also sometimes they may catch up, right? So then it's like, show me where you fit in. And it says it twice. And it's not like, when I look at this, it's not that there's this asking like, where do you fit in? I don't think that's what it's asking. Show me where you fit. I think it's like, where are you still trying to fit into life you've already outgrown? Because it's like, suddenly I'm hit. Like, okay, it's become clear that you're in this transitional period and you're starting to question the things that can't come with you, the things that won't come with you. And you're not really sure how to proceed forward in that way. Like there's a level of I'm going to say not sure how, but maybe two. But I think specifically, show me where you fit in. I think it goes back to the lyric of be the girl you loved. Remember why you started. Remembering your North Star will always keep you, it will always provide an opportunity to adjust your perspective and also adjust how you're driving your vehicle, how you're moving along towards where you're trying to go, where you started your journey towards, where you're moving towards. What's really interesting is that the song starts to really kind of repeat because there's this recognition of the transition and understanding that like we're almost on the other side of it. And it's like you can do this. Don't forget why you started. You can do this. Don't forget why you started. And that's why I was like, oh, I feel like this is really kind of like that future version of like it's the North Star compass speaking, that future self speaking in that level. So, it was really interesting when I was looking at this song and like, oh my goodness, this is so much more than I thought it was. Like, it was just like, I kept wondering, like, who is this speaking? Who, like, I'll wait. And it's like, I feel like this is more than a lover speaking to someone. It was deeper than that. It was much deeper than that. It's like, there was a level of patience in this and recognizing that, okay, this is where we landed. So for those of you that are watching the summer school lessons or interested in kind of diving into that, this is the part, like if that's not where you are, you can completely skip over that part. But I want to talk about how this connects to the lesson. So the internet is full of voices telling you who you should become, because that particular lesson was really about the internet is not your intuition, right? And so it's a space that's constantly telling us how we need to be, and it distracts us from driving and being in our own vehicle. And I do think there are some voices that are very helpful. I think there's some that are very wise, and they're some are just loud as hell. And just because it's the loudest voice in the room doesn't mean it's the most valid. But the thing about it is that the helpful and the wise and the loudest person, it's not their responsibility to answer the question I feel this song really leaves us with. And only we know when we have outgrown a way of being. Only we know a level of fulfillment that we have in our lives, regardless of how the internet is telling us where we should be or how we should feel about our life. Oh, you should be grateful that you have that. How dare you want to have a different experience? How dare you want to live a different life than what your current existence is presenting as? And the thing about it is that only you can know these things because you're the one that's responsible for knowing and for taking care and making the choices of your life on a deep level of you are the one that's going to live with the consequences of the choices that you make. The people on the internet are not. And they're always going to have an opinion. You can literally do the thing they tell you to do, like down to the letter and the punctuations and the periods and the exclamation points and the spaces between, and all that doesn't have spaces between, and they will still find fault in it. You could have done it better. You should have done it with a smile on your face, or how dare you smile while doing it. And so why I chose retrograde, why I feel it's such a really good companion to lesson 3, is it talks about the greatest illusion isn't that you're moving backward. The greatest illusion is believing that the discomfort you feel at the edge of transformation means you should return to who you used to be. Because the retrograde, the illusionary part of it is that you feel like you're moving backwards and you're not. That's the illusion of a retrograde. And so sometimes what feels like we're going backwards, it simply provides this moment before we may fully trust the person that we're becoming, or trusting the life that is currently in transition of revealing the outcome of those choices. And I think the I'll wait part is the beautiful expression of that. I'll wait. I'll wait. All right. So this has been an interesting journey, and I highly recommend you to read the lyrics on your own. I'm curious to know, like, what's your take? What's your perspective? What does a retrograde mean to you? How has or how do these lyrics speak to you and where you are in your vehicle and moving back in, and, you know, maybe I'm retrograding away from you. What's your take? We all have moments of retrogrades. You know, one thing I'm reminded of too is that there's always planets typically that are in retrograde. And a retrograde is not a moment to feel, to not panic. It's a moment to not panic. It provides an opportunity to remind yourself of where is it that you're trying to go, and also be aware that you are the one responsible for driving your own vehicle in order to ensure that you get there in the way that makes sense for you, that honors where you are, and is in alignment with the things that you want to experience, that you recognize provide a level of fulfillment in your life. So let's get back in our vehicles. Let's stop trying to drive other people's vehicles. Stop letting other people on the internet tell you how to drive or tell you shouldn't be driving. It's all about you discerning what makes sense and allowing other outside people to provide you with an opportunity to discern, do I want to listen to those voices? Do those voices help me to remain focused on my North Star and where I'm trying to go? You're the driver. You know where you are trying to go, and that's your responsibility. And also, too, it's really no one else's business where you're going in your car either. So with that, thanks for watching In the Margins. Again, I'm Nicole Love, and I hope you will join me on the next episode. And if you are interested in exploring summer school, if you're watching this real time, you can head over to my Substack page. And if you are watching this in the future, you can still head over to Substack page and explore the summer school experience. It will be there whenever the road rises to meet you. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.